Welcome, everyone, to Staten Field on the campus of Robert C. Byrd High School for this evening's broadcast of Robert C. Byrd Baseball. Tonight is opening day for the high school baseball season in the great state of West Virginia. And today's contest matches two Big Ten foes, the Barbour Colts and our Robert C. Byrd Flying Eagles. I am Basil Lucas, and as always, I'm joined by my broadcast partner, former high school coach Ryan Lance. Ryan, this evening's contest is a matchup of two teams who both had successful 2022 campaigns.
Yeah, Coach, it was a historic season for the Flying Eagles, with making their first trip to the state tournament in school history. And the Colts also came off a successful season. In fact, as you'll reference here a little later, they split their season game with them, which was no small task. So I would expect a nice contest this afternoon.
And that's exactly what happened. The Barbour Colts split the regular season series with the Flying Eagles last year and bring back a pretty good hitting and fielding team.
Well, you know, both teams, they do return a lot of talent and in key positions, too. I think, you know, we're in the middle of West Virginia baseball season weather. So these teams probably haven't had a chance to get on the field much. So, you know, can they limit some mistakes, especially early on?
On the home front, the Flying Eagles are flying high with optimism after the 2022 season became the most successful season in school history, topping the year off with a state tournament appearance. The 2023 team starts this season with high expectations and a bunch of returning players who played key roles in last year's success.
It was a tremendous season for the ball club, for Coach Tanner Hill and his fellas. Coach Hill obviously has moved on, but they do return a lot of talent. And, again, they're in key positions that matter in West Virginia high school baseball. So this is the first step in a long journey for them.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk to new Robert C. Byrd manager Andrew Smith and get some insight into this evening's game. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
Now let us speak to Robert C. Byrd manager Andrew Smith. Coach, your club is coming into the season with high expectations. How has your team's preparation been so far this season?
I would say it's been consistent. One of the key components that we've tried to instill thus far is just consistency, day in and day out. We've had some bad luck with weather, as have most of the teams around here, but even when we've got to go indoors and the guys don't want to, we've just tried to stay steadfast and you know, buy in.
Coach, this is your first season at the helm at Robert C. Byrd. Can you please share with our fans a little bit about Andrew Smith and your journey to Clarksburg?
Yes, sir. So I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been teaching and coaching from that area going on 9 years now, and we moved to Clarksburg area back in August. My wife is from Bridgeport, so we relocated, get a little bit closer to home to some family, and since then, the coaching transition has been fabulous. The families here, the community here have been super supportive, and you know, I feel completely blessed.
Coach, how did you feel when you had the opportunity to hire former Major League pitcher Harrison Musgrave as your assistant?
Talking about blessings, I'd say that was probably the first one. One of the first conversations that I had was with Coach Musgrave, and ever since that first conversation, I've tried to really just be a sponge and soak up everything that he has to offer and say and teach and coach, and you know, and learn from him.
Another key component to your staff is Rick Rock. Rick's been an assistant for the past few seasons, and I'm sure he's created a sense of stability for the program. How has Rick helped with the transition?
Man, Rick is my right-hand man. He's the guy that I call at 10:30 at night when I'm wondering what the lineup should look like for tomorrow, or he's the guy that comes out on Sundays, you know, to help with the field maintenance and rake it and mow it and whatever the case may be. He has been along with Coach Musgrave, he's been a tremendous blessing and someone that I rely on regularly.
Coach, what are your keys for a Flying Eagle Club victory over a quality Barbour squad?
I think tonight we got to come out. We got to have some fun. Number one, have fun. Strategically, we've got to throw strikes. I think we're going to do that. Offensively, hopefully we get a lot of first pitch fastballs that we offer at. Hopefully we don't hit. We don't have to hit behind in the count. And like I said, hopefully we have some fun along the way.
Coach Smith, thanks for taking some time with us before today's game, and good luck.
All right, yes sir. Thank you. Go Eagles.
That was Robert C. Byrd, new head coach. Andrew Smith, RCBSN Baseball.
Flying Eagle Network.
Okay, here's today's Robert C. Byrd starting lineup. Batting first and playing shortstop, number 12, Braden Thomason. Batting second and playing third base, number 5, Ryland Rock. Batting third and doing the pitching, number 23, Nick George. Batting in the cleanup spot, the left fielder, number 10, Nathan Lotsky. Batting fifth and playing first base, number 18, Logan Frum. Batting sixth and playing second base, number 3, Anthony Corsini. Batting seventh and doing the catching, number 25, Noah O'Neill. Batting eighth and playing right field, number 6, Dior Cooper. And batting ninth and playing center field, number 2, Bryce Byrd. Now let us for a Robert C. Byrd win. Ryan, what are Coach Lance's keys to a victory?
Well, I think the first thing that pitcher Nick George needs to do is be able to control the black edges of the plate. You don't want to put it on a tee for these guys because they can hit and they have some talent with that. The second thing is get base runners on. This is a relatively athletic team as they were last year. So can you get on the base? Can you get it loosened up and get them moving? And number 3, again, early in the season, can you limit the fielding miscues? I think, to be honest, if you can throw strikes and limit those miscues, I think that's the team that's going to come out victorious.
Those are key components to a victory today for the Flying Eagles. And looks like they're going to drag the field one more time. The coaches are going to meet. And we're going to get ready for some West Virginia high school baseball here at Staten Field. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
back here live at Staten Field. The national anthem was just played. The players were introduced, and we're ready for some baseball. Nick George on the mound for the Flying Eagles. It's a blustery day, the first day of spring, Coach.
I like that word, Coach, blustery.
First day of spring in the state of West Virginia.
You know, Nick is a hard-throwing right-hander. Last year, it seemed like it took him a little bit to get warmed up and get stretched out. So I'm not this cooler weather probably isn't going to help him early on. But as the game goes on, I would imagine he'll start cranking it up.
And his velocity's increased. From 4 or 5 miles an hour since last year as well. And, he was a hard-throwing right-hander as a junior.
Yeah.
But he's going to face a quality Colt lineup. They came in here last year, and Robert C. Byrd was on a tear at the time and came in and hit a couple home runs. Actually, Alfred Ish did, and they were able to knock off the Flying Eagles.
And I was really impressed last year by the Colts plate discipline. They had a plan. Every batter seemed like they had a plan when they went up to the plate and made the pitchers work and made the pitchers end up throwing a pitch that they could handle. And as you alluded to, Ish handled several last year, so he returns this year. Looks like Nick's slider is a little crisper this year, too.
All right, let's play baseball. Leading off for the Philip Barbour Colts is the second baseman, number 0, Nick Gonzalez.
The second baseman, Nick Gonzalez.
Nick takes the mound. Here's the windup. And the pitch. Strike one on the outside corner.
So important to get that first strike. Just changes the odds in your favor as a pitcher.
Count is 0-1. Nick gets a sign. And here's the pitch. Just high for ball one.
As we said, these batters aren't going to just swing blindly at pitches.
1 ball, 1 strike on Gonzalez. Pitch is low and outside for ball 2. And you can tell that's the way that the Colts are going to be. They're going to be patient at the plate. Ball's low and outside for ball 3. Looked like a breaking pitch.
Yeah. Again, you're going to have that early in the season. It's the Colts' plan to get these, especially these first 2 batters on, try to set the table for their bigger sticks.
3-1 count. Pitch just inside for ball 4. And Nick Gonzalez will draw a walk. That'll bring up the shortstop, Albert Gonzalez.
For the Colts, number 6, Albert Gonzalez.
That was one of the keys for Coach Smith when we were talking. It was about throwing strikes.
See how aggressive they are on the base paths.
Nick Gonzalez with a pretty good lead at first base. Georgia from the stretch pitches high for ball 1. Nick George does a little maintenance to the mound. Here comes pitch number 2. Blown inside, and that's 2 balls, no strikes on the shortstop, Gonzalez.
So Nick's going through his process right now. He's like you said, he's kind of messing with the mound, trying to find his spot, trying to find a good release point.
Pitch on the inside corner, fastball for strike one. That'll make the count 2-1. Generally, for most teams, this is an opportunity when teams like to maybe get some action going on. 2-1 count, nobody out, a runner on the base. We'll see what they do. And Nick paints the outside corner for strike two. And that'll even the count 2-2.
Especially hard thrower. Might see some movement at first, trying to get that second baseman to move and create that gap on the right side. Chances are they're going to be behind this a little bit.
Ball's fouled down the first base line. Coach Smith makes a one-handed stab at it. Gets by, but he was backed up well there.
Coach, it's March. He'll have that by April.
Again, the count's 2-2 on Albert Gonzalez. Nick Gonzalez on first. And the ball is thrown to first base, gets by Logan Frum. Nick Gonzalez on his way to second base, standing up. As Dior, Cooper, and Logan Frum scramble to the first base line to get the wild pitch. Or, excuse me, errant throw to first base. The good thing about that, Coach, is that, that ball went pretty far away from first base. He could have made it all the way to third.
Yeah, they did limit the damage.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Albert Gonzalez. Curveball just inside. It's going to make the count 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he made Albert do the old knee buckle up there, didn't he?
Here's going to be the payoff pitch. George gets the sign from O'Neill. Here comes the pitch. Ball's inside for ball 4. It's been all around the plate, Coach.
Yeah, and as we alluded to earlier, it's just getting out here on a mound when it's live, trying to figure things out as you go.
That's going to bring up the right fielder, number 19, Tyler Sisson. 2 men on, nobody out. And George fires a fastball right on the outside corner, swing and a miss by Sisson. And critical that George gets ahead in the count. No balls, 1 strike. Runners at first and second. Sisson squares around. He bunts the ball. Rock picks it up. On to Frum for the out. So the Sisson's bunt advances
5-3 for the first out.
Nick and Albert Gonzalez to second and third with 1 out.
Brings up the catcher, number
I like that call by Philip Barbour. Runners in scoring position, got their big guy up.
This is going to bring up their power hitter, the cleanup hitter, number 9, Alfred Ish. First base open, Coach. You think they may pitch around him here in this situation?
I don't know. Maybe see what it looks like early on. Oh. Get one of them. See what happens.
George's pitch on the outside corner, called strike 1. George from the stretch, he gets a sign from O'Neill. Here's the pitch. Fastball high, and he gets it by Ish right there.
Yeah, he challenged him. I was kind of surprised. I really thought that Nick was really going to have to pitch to Ish and not just try to throw it by him, but he did that pitch. Let's see if he changes it up here, puts a little wrinkle to it.
Ball gets away from O'Neill. George covering the plate. And Nick Gonzalez crosses the plate to give the Philip Barbour Colts a 1-0 lead. Albert Gonzalez also advances to third base on the wild pitch.
from second base advances to third.
It's going to make the count 1 ball, 2 strikes on Alfred Ish.
Thing is, if you try to put a little wrinkle to it, especially with a inexperienced catcher, you run the risk of this run from third coming in.
Fastball's foul tipped. And that'll keep the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coach, I can't really tell. Did that hit the catcher or the umpire?
I think it hit the umpire, the way he's walking around.
Yeah, he looks like he's taking a little time to gather himself.
Collect his thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Day like today, that's going to sting a little bit more than it normally would.
Probably questioning career decisions at this point.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Ish. Ball's hit down the first base line and is just foul. And, you know, that should have told the Flying Eagles something. Gonzalez was moving on contact from third base.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they've adjusted their depth any, so it's early on. He gets it in play, you probably conceding the run from third.
George gets the sign. Here's the pitch. Oh, and called strike 3 at the knees. Critical out for the Flying Eagles as Nick George strikes out Alfred Ish.
Big pitch. Went right at him that at bat. Again, I thought maybe he would try to throw some off-speed stuff at him, but no, he went straight at him and was successful.
So up at bats, the first baseman, number 5, Mason Halfin. He's a left-hander. 2 outs. Fast ball. Down low for ball 1 on Halflin. Halflin likes to snug up on that plate, Coach.
He does, and going from righty to lefty.
And what a nice pitch by Nick George to even the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, yeah, you faced 4 right-handed batters, and then they bring that lefty up. And again, he likes to get in there and claim that inner half of the plate.
George gets a sign from O'Neill. And it's hit back to George. George underhands it to Frum for out number 3. And the Flying Eagles get out of a critical jam to start the season.
And that's the end of the top of the first.
Philip Barbour has 1 run on no hits. 1 runner left on base. And at the end of the first half inning,
1-0,
Philip Barbour won. The Flying Eagles coming to bat. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
infielders. That is great.
Leading off in the bottom of the first inning for the Flying Eagles, the shortstop, number 12,
Back here at Staten Field, the Flying Eagles
Thomason.
trailing the Colts 1-0. Braden Thomason, the shortstop, leading off for the Flying Eagles. Miles Hutzler on the mound for the Colts. His first pitch is high for ball one. Second pitch. Hit right back up the middle.
Oh.
And that'll get by the shortstop, Gonzalez, into center field. It took a bad hop. I think that'll be scored an error, or excuse me, a base hit, Coach.
Yeah, I think it should. They and Bray looked like Bray stumbled a little bit coming out of the box, so very beneficial that gave it that old hop, big hop.
That's going to bring up the third baseman, number 5, Ryland Rock. Bray, very aggressive last season on the bases. Hustler's going to have to pay attention to him. He's got a big lead to start with. Hustler gets a sign from Ish. And the first pitch to Rock is high for ball one.
I really thought he'd throw over to gauge Bray's eagerness to take a lead here.
And Hustler's second pitch is low for ball two. So Rock's ahead in the count. We got Bray on first base. Hustler has a pickoff play.
See, and you know, Coach, there's different levels of pickoff plays. Some you're just tossing over, letting them know. Other times you're trying to get them. Those are usually the quicker ones.
I thought Haflin made a nice play to keep that ball where it was.
Well, but that's the risky run, as we saw earlier when Nick made that throw that kind of got away. So you make that throw, and it's not on line. Next thing you know, the runner's standing at third base.
So in with a strike, makes the count 2-1. And that ball's outside for ball three. Ryland Rock way ahead in the count here with Thomason on first base.
I'd be surprised if Bray's moving on this pitch.
Ball's hit to Nick Gonzalez at second base. And it's an errant throw. It goes into short left field. And D'Angelo's able to get over before it advances the runners. So that'll be an E4 on the second baseman.
Yeah. Hey, you know, that's what Bray's speed does. It speeds up the clock on these fielders. And he had to have a clean exchange and get it out there, and it all had to happen, you know, without a hitch. And when it doesn't, you know, that's the result.
Well, this is critical for the Flying Eagles. You got first and second on, and you're bringing back one of the best hitters in the Big Ten. And number 23, Nick George, we know what a great year he had at the plate last season. You know, he just peppered the left center wall with hit after hit after hit after hit.
Surprised there's not a plaque up in left center with his name on it as much as he hit it last year.
So Hustler gets a sign from Ish. Here comes the pitch to George. And ball's in the dirt for ball one.
I'm anxious to see if he challenges Nick. I don't think he will. Again, Nick's proven time and time again that he makes pitchers pay for their mistakes.
One-0 count on George. Pitch is on the outside corner for strike one.
That was a nice pitch.
And it was a pitch that George couldn't do much with, Coach. It was right low at the knees, outside corner, and it just wasn't where he wanted it to be, and he just 1-1's a count. 2 runners on for the Flying Eagles, no outs. Ball's hit up
one.
high to the left fielder, D'Angelo, and he camps under it for out number 1.
Boy, did he just get under that.
Ball carried a long way.
The airport called and gave the Plains a heads up on that one.
Fielder number 10, Nathan Lotsky.
So that's going to bring up the left fielder, Nathan Lotsky. So Flying Eagles have 2 on, 1 out here at the top of the first inning. First pitch of Lotsky, and he hits a line drive. Actually, a fly ball to
He is tagging. Okay.
the center fielder, Kel Wolf. And Wolf got the ball in pretty quick, but
Lotsky flies out to the center.
Thomason was tagging up, and there was no getting him at third, Coach. I mean, it was a good.
Yeah. Again, that's the pressure that Bray puts on teams. So now we have Logan. I'll be anxious to see if they play some games with Ryland at first.
Number 18.
We got runners at first and third. Right-handed pitcher. We'll see what Ryland decides to do here. And he takes off immediately. Now here we go. Now they go ahead and Hutzler allows him.
Balk, yeah.
And he calls a balk.
Yeah. He didn't disengage before he spun.
That's exactly what he did. He didn't disengage.
Balk call on the move to second base.
That's good coaching. If I'm sure Coach Smith called that, and that's just good coaching.
So that'll bring the first run of the year across the plate for the Flying Eagles. As Thomason
That's
crosses home plate.
A ball considered, right?
Yes. From up with the runner on second base. Hutzler paints the inside corner for strike 2.
As we saw in warm-up, he does. It seems like he has a little two-seamer that tails on right-handed batters.
He could jam that right-handed batter easily with that pitch.
But he goes back outside here.
Low and away. One ball, 2 strikes is a count. Ball's in the dirt. Ish picks it up. Rock slides into third base, and he gets there.
Ryland Rock advances to third on the pitch.
So now, Rock can score on a myriad of ways.
Yeah, and it probably limits what he wants to pitch in terms of his off-speed stuff. You don't want to kick it away from a catcher with a runner on third and 2 outs. So I would say he's probably seen a fastball here.
So 2-2 is the count. Pitch is in the dirt. Rock very aggressive because just like we said before, you know, he could score on a wild pitch very easily.
Yeah.
And the ball was in the dirt, but Ish did a nice job of blocking the ball and keeping it in front of him.
Man,
like a hockey goal.
I tell you, when you have a catcher that can do that, he's a pitcher's best friend.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch to Fromm. Pitch down the middle, fouled.
Logan is just missing that left shoulder's coming out just a little early. He hangs back just a tad, shoots that ball over the second baseman's head.
So I want to elaborate, Coach, on the ball call. It's actually not a ball. I misunderstood the question. It's a.
I got you. I always thought it was. Learn something.
And the payoff pitch was low for ball 4. And Fromm works a walk, and that's going to put players at first and third.
brings up the second baseman, number 3.
Right side of the infield started coming in on that pitch.
Well,
for the Colts.
The pitcher, the catcher, everybody got up and wanted to leave at that point in time. So let's see what they do with From at first base. And I hit right down the left field line.
They're going to hold him up
Is Anthony Corsini with an RBI single.
For Anthony Corsini, drives in Rylan Rock with the Eagles' second run of the inning. Runners on first and second.
He threw that inside on Anthony, and Anthony pulled on it right down the line.
And, you know, with the third baseman guarding the line, he was right there. That was a hard-hit ball by Anthony. He turned on that ball really hard, really quick. So up to bat is the catcher for the Flying Eagles, Noah O'Neill. He'll take the first pitch on the outside corner for strike one. Hustler with the pitch. Ball's hit up in the air. The third baseman, Cam Cole.
Good job holding on to that one.
So Cole makes the play for the third out.
Final out of the inning. The Eagles score 2 runs.
So the Flying Eagles get 2 runs on 2 hits.
2 left.
2 runners left on base, and after one full inning of play, Robert C. Byrd 2, Philip Barbour 1. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
The top of the second inning for the Colts.
Back here at Staten Field, the Flying Eagles ahead of the Colts 2-1, top of the second inning. Leading off the inning is the left fielder, Andrew D'Angelo. First pitch from George on the inside corner, fouled away for strike one.
It's important for Nick to get out, throw these early strikes on these batters, and kind of keep them off balance a little bit.
Here comes the second pitch, right on the inside corner, just high for ball one. The zone today is not going to be very far up, Coach.
Nah, not at all.
George gets a sign from O'Neill. The fastball's outside for ball two.
Nick's been working it in and out. Looks like he is trying to change the eye level on the batter.
2-1 count. Ball's in the dirt for ball 3.
Ooh, nice toss by the ump.
I think he took another shot from that ball in the dirt. And
That's a little bit of frustration, you think?
yes, I think he was taking a little walk and loosening his arm up. And he talked to himself a little bit too.
Wondering why he didn't get the play-by-play job, probably. A little bit, you think?
I think he's taking into consideration for next season. And George paints the outside corner for strike 2. That's going to make the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. It's a nice pitch again by George. It's really an unhittable pitch. There's not much you can do with that pitch. And the payoff pitch is inside for ball 4. And D'Angelo leads off the inning.
You know, and I just think this is common this time of the year. First games, it's kind of cool, cold out. It's just tough for these pitchers to get warmed up after they've been sitting down for 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, this isn't premier conditions for pitching. Pitch just high for ball 1.
Having said that, though, you just have to figure out a way.
D'Angelo doesn't have much of a lead at first base. He takes one more step. Fastball right down the middle for strike 1.
I will be surprised if, at least for the next few innings, if Nick goes away from his fastball too much. We saw him try to throw some wrinkles early, but
now much bigger here. There goes D'Angelo, and he easily steals second base.
boy, he got a good jump.
Well, he left really early. He was 3 steps by the time the pitch was process had started, and O'Neill didn't have a chance to throw him out right there.
Well, he kind of played possum a little bit, I think, early on. He just stayed close to the bag, but right then he kind of lulled him to sleep and took off.
Now D'Angelo at second base. And that pitch is low for a ball. So 3 balls, 1 strike on the batter.
Got a big lead at second, too.
Pitch right over the inside corner for strike 2. A little frustration with George right there. You can tell he's a little frustrated. He's thrown a couple pitches that are pretty darn close. And if most guys, if you're not going to call it high, you're going to give a little bit low.
A little bit of low, yeah.
Pitch is fouled back. Keep the count, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And the challenge when you're a pitcher is to let your frustration maybe not come out, but express it without showing up the umpires, because they don't take kindly to that, and Nick's done a good job of trying to mask that.
So 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch to Hutzler, and the pitch is just high for ball 4.
Ball 4.
And that'll bring up the number 8 hitter, the third baseman,
First and second.
Braden Cole.
Wouldn't surprise me to see a sacrifice right here.
So the pitcher's going to get a courtesy runner.
Courtesy runner for the pitcher.
It's going to be Mikey Salisbury.
Brings up the third baseman, number 12, Braden Cole.
So Cole squares around and bunts the ball foul out of play. And just what you expect from the bottom of the lineup, Coach. Number 8 hitter immediately turns around and tries to bunt to advance the runners. See how the Flying Eagles are going to play this. Thomason's covering a second baseman. Ball's fouled and hits the our umpire one more time. He's taking that's number 3. He's taking.
I hear you. And you know what? It's different in March than it is in late May. You know, it feels just a little different.
But that does make the count on Cole. No balls, 2 strikes. So with the Flying Eagles giving all that space to the shortstop area, they let him swing away that time. Rocks up on the grass. Thomason's covering second base, and there's a big gap there on the shortstop side. No balls, 2 strikes. O'Neill gives George the sign, and the pitch is hit out of play. That'll keep the count 0. No balls, excuse me, and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's an interesting little chess match going on early in this game. RCB's determined to hold that runner at second. Keep him from getting the jump.
And as hard as George throws, they're thinking, that if he does hit the ball, he's more likely to hit the ball to the right side.
The right side, yeah.
So curveball's up high for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. O'Neill with a sign to George. George with a pitch. And just misses for ball 2.
It's close.
So that'll even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runners on first and second. D'Angelo and Hutzler. And off-speed pitch for strike 3. Swing and a miss by Cole.
Strikeout for the first out of the inning.
Got a lefty up again. I would imagine the sacrifice bunt is in play here
Number 1
as well.
Wolf.
And Kel Wolf. And again, the strategy is just the opposite. You got a kid probably that's not going to pull the ball against George, so second and third, or the shortstop and the third baseman aren't moving. And the first pitch to Wolf is called strike. And he squares around a bunt on the second pitch, and it goes foul.
I tell you, man, when that first pitch is called a strike, it puts so much pressure on the batter on that second pitch to try to lay it down. Again, especially when it's a little cooler. They probably haven't had a lot of reps with it.
He's way behind in the count. Here's Kel Wolf. And Nick George is way ahead in the count. So he gets a sign from O'Neill. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Top of the second inning. And pitch is just outside for ball 1. Count is 1-2. And the pitch is outside. Kel's able to check his swing. And that'll even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I'll imagine that Nick will stay with the fastball until he hits the top of the order.
2-2. Here's the pitch to Wolf. And swing and a miss for strike 3. So Nick George done a good job able to get the last 2 batters 8 and 9, with strikeouts. And we're to the top of the lineup, to the second baseman, Nick Gonzalez. But much better situation, 2 on and 2 outs instead.
Right, yeah, you can play it straight on the infield. You have 3 bags, 3 bases that you can grab outs at. Last at bat, Nick Gonzalez walked.
Yeah, and Nick's much more comfortable now.
Yeah.
That first pitch is a hard fastball that's fouled.
Gonzalez, he looks comfortable up there. You can tell he has confidence, and he's going to take his cuts here.
So no balls, 1 strike. That ball's in the dirt for Ball one, that'll even the count 1-1.
Good job by O'Neal picking that. Again, you graduate a backstop like Waylon Dodd last year. I mean, he did a lot of the dirty work for the Flying Eagles. And
Gonzalez hits the ball liner down the left field line, but way foul for strike 2.
and I'll be surprised if he sees another inside pitch the way he turned on that one.
Yeah, he was quick hands right there and turned on that fastball and again, up at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nick can throw anything. We have runners on first and second, not second and third, so he's going to feel comfortable throwing whatever he wants to throw right here.
Little slider on the outer half would be nice right here.
Fastball on the outside corner, fouled away.
But you even see with that, kind of towards the outside, wasn't much Gonzalez could do with that. He was just kind of trying to foul that ball off to live to fight another pitch.
Count 1-2. O'Neal sends George a sign. Here comes the pitch. And swing and a miss, strike 3. And George is able to fight back in this inning. The Colts get no runs on no hits. 2 runners left on base at the end of an inning and a half. Robert C. Byrd 2, Philip Barbour 1. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
Fielder, number 6.
Back here at Staten Field, Flying Eagles in the lead, 2-1. And leading off the inning for the Flying Eagles is the right fielder, number 6, Dior Cooper. Coop is a switch hitter for the Flying Eagles, batting right-handed. Takes the first pitch and fouls it away for strike 1.
Don't see that too much in high school baseball around here. Switch hitter.
So Miles Hutzler with a pitch. Fastball swing and a miss by Cooper.
Yeah, it looks like Dior's pulling out a little bit early. First pitch, it was inside, so it benefited him. But I would imagine Hutzler's going to stay on the outer half and force him to keep that shoulder in.
So he's ahead to count, no balls, 2 strikes. There's a curveball. It's popped up into the air. Nick Gonzalez calls for it, and he drops it. And Cooper will advance to first base on an error.
Your Cooper safe at first. Brings up.
And, Coach, I believe, and I really do, I believe that the sun played a part in that.
Yeah, he did a great job. I was a little worried when it hit because it kind of hit in that no man's land. But he did a great job getting back there, getting set up, and then just like he lost it.
That's going to bring up the center fielder, number 2, Bryce Byrd. Bryce did a wonderful job last year. First pitch is up high for ball 1.
Yeah, Bryce played a big part with his offense and defense last year for the Flying Eagles and contributing to their successful season.
Miles Hutzler pitches in the dirt, and that was a nice pickup by Alfred Ish. Even the count, 1 ball, 1 strike on, or actually 2 balls, no strikes on Bryce Byrd. Ball's hit down the third base line. A heck of a
Great
grab
job,
by Braden Cole, but nothing he can do about that. That's going to be a base hit for Bryce Byrd.
Moves Dior Cooper to second. With runners at
So Flying Eagles
up the top of the order.
got a little bit of
Number 12, the shortstop,
action going on right now
Thomas.
with runners at first and second, and now you're at the top of the lineup with the shortstop, Braden Thomason, coming to bat. Pitch to Thomason.
Oh, beautiful.
He bunts it up the first base line.
Heads up play,
and
too.
good thinking by the first baseman,
Foul ball.
Mason Halfland. He let the ball go foul because he wasn't going to – I mean, they were going to have – the base was loaded.
Right. No, I think he might have scored. I mean, he had a head start. He was coming. You know, I was wondering if they were going to try that with Bray. But Bray's such a smart player. You know, he's the kind of guy that you would trust in that situation. And, boy, was that a nice attempt down the line.
So Halfland ahead in the count, no balls, 1 strike, runners on first and second. The Colts think this is going to happen again. I don't think it is. And check swing by Thomason. That's going to make the count no balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, I think he saw an opportunity to bunt and took it. And they took it as an opportunity to bring their infield in. And that benefited the Flying Eagles right there. So
Yeah.
behind the count, those Bray, no balls, 2 strikes. Hutzler with the pitch. Curveball is inside for ball 1.
Yeah, Hutzler can't play in this deep end of the pool too much because he's got some big sticks coming up that can bust this game open.
Hish sits up on the outside corner. Here comes the pitch. Bray hits it to center field.
It's going to be tough.
It's actually in a tough area, and that ball's going to fall for a base hit in between Kel Wolf and Nick Gonzalez. So that's a second hit of the inning for the Flying Eagles.
For Braden Thomason, loads the bases.
Bray must be living right.
For the third
It's a
base.
nice hit.
But, you know, we've seen, for years now, Coach, that ball that's hit in that area is just a tough play because,
Well,
on
the
any-
infield's unsure of whether they should come back. And you know as a coach, what's one of the toughest things to get high school players to do, which is communicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that play like that calls for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now the Flying Eagles in business with the bases loaded and the third baseman, Rylan Rock, at the plate. Miles Hutzler with the pitch. Off-speed pitch. Swing and a miss by Rock. And that'll put Hutzler ahead in the count. No balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, Ryland's eyes lit up, and he wasn't going to get shorted on that swing.
Curveball again up high for ball 1. That'll even the count on Rock. Bryce Byrd's getting a tremendous lead at second base.
But you know what? If you're Philip Barbour, you're hesitant to even try that because there's so many things that could go wrong when you haven't had the practice.
Here comes the pitch. Rock hits it to the shortstop. Albert Gonzalez runs past it. And Dior Cooper crosses the plate for the third Flying Eagle run. That
Rock safe at first on the hit to shortstop. Brings in a run.
we will call that an E.
Yeah, I think.
It's an
It
E6.
had been a bang-bang play, but
What do you got for that, Coach? We give him the hit there.
Yeah, I'm giving him a hit.
Let's give him the hit. So we'll go third hit of the inning for the Flying Eagles. And they're ahead now 3-1.
That's a nice pitch by Hutzler right there on Nick. Started on the outer half and broke it off, and Nick just couldn't hold up. He won't get him to chase that again, though.
Nick George with an opportunity to help himself. Pitch is low for ball one. That'll even the count on Nick.
Nick, past few months signed to play with the Falcons, correct?
Yes. Curveball to George, and he's going to hit a high hopper in between the third baseman and the shortstop, and that's going to score 2 runs for the Flying Eagles as Bryce Byrd and Braden Thomason cross the plate to add to the lead, and that'll be the Flying Eagles' 4th hit in the inning.
And that goes back to that large lead at second base you were talking about with Bryce, and that's why you do that.
So Flying Eagles not pounding the ball in this inning, but the ball has eyes, Coach.
But, that was a good piece of hitting by Nick. He had him off balance, but Nick had kept his hands back enough to push it through the infield.
It's going to bring up number 10, the left fielder, Nathan Lotsky. Runners on first and second. And it's a swing and a miss. Actually, foul tip back for strike one. Took a rip at that ball.
Nathan likes to get his cuts. That's 2 pitches and 2 swings he's had so far this game. So I think this is, if I'm correct, this is his first year back playing baseball after a few years off.
It's a curveball right on the outside corner for strike 2. Put Lotsky behind no balls, 2 strikes. It's behind the count.
Maybe he comes back to that.
There it is again. He throws the curveball, but hangs inside for ball 1.
I'd go back to that outer half curveball again and see if you can get that call. But Nathan's got to work to reset this count.
So there's a 2-seamer, and it's hit up in the air. The pitcher, Hutzler, makes the play. That would have had the infield fly rule in effect at that point in time anyway, Coach. So that would have been an automatic out.
Yeah.
Now for the Eagles. Brings up the first baseman, number 18, Logan Frum.
So that's going to bring up the first baseman, number 18, Logan Frum.
Logan walked his last at bat.
Flying Eagles have runners on first and second. Frum takes the curveball and slaps it down the left field line. Foul for strike 1. Pitcher's low in the dirt for ball 1. Hutzler's throwing a lot of pitches this inning, Coach.
Yeah, he has.
1-1 count on Frum. Here's the pitch. And there's a throw from Mish to second base. He gets to center field.
Ooh.
And the runners are going to advance.
Oh. I thought he was thinking about it.
Runners advance on the throw down to second base.
So J.D. Ford advances to second base, and Ryland Rock advances to third.
Again, and that's what happens when you try to keep runners close. If you get too quick with it, you can give up extra bases.
Hutzler's pitch is in for strike 2. Runners at second and third. 1 out for the Flying Eagles. Fastball hit to right field. Tyler Sisson loses the ball. In comes Rock for run number 6. And J.D. Ford crosses home plate as well for run number 7.
I couldn't tell out there in right. He just misplayed that, or
yeah, it looked like he just missed the ball.
Okay.
Like to welcome the First Lady of Robert C. Byrd High School and local axe throwing champion Sandy Gibson in the crowd tonight.
So that'll go down as a double for Frum and 2 RBIs.
Sometimes the baseball gods are smiling at you. Looks like the Colts have some pitcher up in the bullpen.
You know, the wind may have played some havoc in right field there as well, you know.
Yeah. See that flag's just really blowing.
Corsini had a critical at bat his first time. He made a nice base hit RBI for the Flying Eagles.
Now batting,
He did. I think he got their first hit of the game. And it was on an inside pitch, so I'll be surprised if Hutzler throws him another one. I think he's going to try to probably stay on the outer half.
So, first pitch from Hutzler to Corsini. He's in for strike 1. Second pitch is low and outside for ball 1.
Had a little wrinkle to it.
Had Corsini belling there a little bit.
And a little buckle.
Even the count 1-1, but he saw it now. Fastball right on the outside
Good
corner for
pitch.
strike 2.
Again, you know, Anthony had a nice hit early on. You tip your cap, but you just can't give him that same pitch again and make him adjust.
He's got all kinds of room on the right side. And Hutzler gets Corsini looking. Strike 3.
I think Anthony was looking for another pitch right there.
Brings up the catcher, number 25, Noah O'Neill.
So 2 outs. Now for the Flying Eagles. Runner on second base. Frum's on second base. No, O'Neill up to bat for the Flying Eagles. First pitch is a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1.
O'Neill flew out to the third baseman, his last at bat.
And this is the 9th batter in the inning for the Flying Eagles, so they batted around. If he can get on.
A good sign. Oh, my. Got a little cat and mouse going on at second base.
Fastball that O'Neill was completely on, fouled straight back for strike 2.
Yeah, he was on that one, which makes me think that Hutzler might go to the off speed here and try to mess up his balance a little bit.
Curveball is slapped down the left field line, foul.
Nice stab attempt by Coach Smith there at third base. But you know what? He thought about the cold weather and that ball in the hands, and he thought the better of it.
Absolutely. Experience gets you a long way in life, Coach.
It does, Coach. Does indeed.
No balls, 2 strikes on O'Neal. Off-speed pitch in the dirt for ball 1. And I liked O'Neal's approach right there, where he's in the hole, but he didn't get excited. A lot of guys get excited on a pitch that looks like it's going to be in the middle of the plate, and that ball was nowhere near the depth. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball gets by O'Neal for strike 3, but not before the Flying Eagles score 5 runs on 5 hits. 1 runner left on base at the end of 3.
5 runs on 4 hits, leave 1 after 2 full innings here at
After 2 innings,
State and Field.
the Flying Eagles
Robert C. Byrd 7
are up 7-1. RCBSN baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
So back at State and Field,
Heading into the top of the 3rd inning.
we're at the top of the 3rd inning. Flying Eagles are up 7-1.
The shortstop, number 6, Albert Gonzalez.
And we're up. Philip Barbour is going to bring up the shortstop, the number 2 batter, number 6, Albert Gonzalez. Coach, I had some first game jitters. I actually wrote that entire last half inning on the 3rd inning column. So,
Coach, you know what? It happens early in the season. You just got to keep the first step.
I'm going to keep plugging away, Coach.
Keep plugging away.
Another nice pitch by George.
Albert walked the last at bat.
George gets a sign from and here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 2, so it counts 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Big Nick is looks like he's loosened up a little bit. He's throwing some velocity.
And working a little faster now as well.
He is.
Fastball hit right back up the middle by Albert Gonzalez for a base hit.
Base hit up the middle for Gonzalez.
It's probably the cleanest hit of the evening.
Top of the 3rd. Brings up the right fielder.
He turned on that fastball. Shot it straight up the middle for a base hit. The right fielder, Tyler Sisson's up to bat. Number 3 batter.
I think he sacrificed last at bat to third baseman.
So George gets a sign. Fastball's fouled up and away for strike 1. Gonzalez with the lead at first. Takes a couple steps. Ball gets by O'Neill. And Albert Gonzalez advances to second base on the wild pitch. Coach Smith wanted a appeal right there.
Yeah.
And the umpire said he did not swing at the pitch.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
So Sisson drives the ball.
Got right in here.
Into left field, Delotsky for a base hit. And that'll put runners on first and third, nobody out.
Left field.
Another clean hit.
Gonzalez. Save at third.
So it's going to bring up
Catcher.
their power hitter,
Ish.
Albert Ish.
Ish caught looking last at bat. Outside pitch. Big, strong player. Boy, I was impressed with Sisson's hands on that last hit. He was quick.
Quick hands on that, no doubt about it. First pitch to Ish is low for ball 1. And down 7-1, the Colts, decided on this situation to try to take second base because they don't want to give up the out at this point in time in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you want to try to save your outs.
Takes off. And Corsini cuts it off.
Sisson safe at second base. Runners on second and third.
So runners now on second and third. Pitches outside on Ish for ball 3.
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be anxious to pitch to Ish in this situation either.
And George fires a fastball right by him, and big swing and a miss.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get cheated.
3-1. Gonzalez is awful aggressive on third base with nobody out.
Yeah.
And again, George just fires a fastball right by.
I think Gonzalez is trying to get in Nick's head a little bit, starting, stopping.
Here's the payoff pitch to Ish. Ball's hit to the center fielder, Bryce Byrd. Bryce Byrd camps under it. Gonzalez takes off from third. Here's the throw from Byrd to O'Neill, and Gonzalez crosses home plate for the second run for Philip Barbour. Now,
wasn't a bad throw.
Wasn't a bad throw. A key component to that whole scenario is that Sisson doesn't advance on the throw to home plate. He's still on second base.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
It's going to bring up Mason Halfland, the first baseman for Philip Barbour.
Number 5, Mason Halfin.
Mason grounded back to the pitcher. His first at bat.
Sisson has a pretty big lead at second base. George takes a peek. Ball obviously outside for ball 1.
Obviously.
And Halfland ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes. Swing and a miss. Next count, 2 balls, 1 strike. And that pitch is inside on Halfland. We'll take the count 3-1. Nick needs the ball across the plate here. You don't want to give him free passes when you're up like this right now.
Gets him back in the game.
And pitch on the outside corner for strike 2.
Well, Halfland sure didn't think that was a strike.
He was halfway to first base.
That bat was in the dugout.
And a swing and a miss for strike 3.
Strike 3, 2 outs.
That was a big get by Nick.
Next up for the Colts, number 8, Andrew D'Angelo.
So that's going to bring up the left fielder, Andrew D'Angelo. Fastball up high by George.
D'Angelo walked his last at bat.
Pitch is fouled away for strike 2. George way ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. And again, with the runner on second base, his whole pitching repertoire is available to him.
Absolutely.
Fastball blown away. Take the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. And swing and a miss by D'Angelo. Actually, for strike 2. And that'll even the count to 2-2.
Runner goes with the punch.
And D'Angelo takes a fastball over the inside corner for strike 3. And that ends the inning as the Colts score 1 run on 2 hits, 1 runner left on base, and the Flying Eagles are ahead 7-2 after 2.5 innings of play. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
Leading off for the Flying Eagles, the right fielder, number 6,
Leading off the
Cooper.
the bottom half of the third inning, just like they did in the top half of the second inning, the right fielder, Dior Cooper. Pitches low and inside for ball one on Dior.
Dior hit that pop-up on the no man's land on the right side that got away from Gonzalez last at bat.
Hutzler's pitch is low, and Dior pops it out of play, foul. Counts 1 ball, 1 strike. Hutzler with a pitch. Right on the outside corner for strike 2.
It was on the outside corner.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good job fighting that off.
Coop does a good job of taking that breaking ball and fouling it away and wasting that pitch. Hutzler heading to count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curveball on the outside corner for strike 3.
Called strike 3. That's the first out of the bottom of the third inning.
Yeah, that froze Dior a little bit.
Brings up the center fielder, number 2.
Nice little tight slider.
Screws up your timing, but
It's going to bring up the center fielder, Bryce Byrd. And he hits a ball down the right field line. He gets by the first baseman, and Sisson goes over the line and gets it in
Bryce Byrd with a single.
nice
to the
job
infield
by
pretty
Bryce.
quick.
Yeah.
He's safe at first.
Coach, we were talking earlier. It looked like a little two-seamer
Brings up the top
kind of
of
rode
the
in on
lineup.
Bryce's hand a
Number
little bit. He did a
12,
great job fighting that off, shooting it down the line.
Thomason.
So we're back at the top of the lineup. We're back to the leadoff hitter, Braden Thomason. Thomason scored 2 runs in this game. Thomason hits it back to Hutzler.
Colts record the out.
On to the first baseman, Halfland, for out number 1.
Byrd advances to second. 2 outs. Brings up the third baseman, number 5, Rylan Rock.
So Bryce Byrd advances on the fielder's choice. I'll bring up the third baseman, Rylan Rock. Rock hits it right back to the pitcher, and Hutzler's made 2 good plays back-to-back to end the inning as the Flying Eagles have no runs on 1 hit. 1 runner left on base, and after 3 innings complete, the Flying Eagles lead 7-2. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
top of the fourth inning for Philip Barbour. The pitcher.
All right, leading off the top of the fourth inning for Philip Barbour is the pitcher, Miles Hutzler. And the pitch now for the Flying Eagles is Logan Frum. Frum with a fastball on the outside, low and away for ball one.
Logan's a sophomore. He got some valuable experience last season as a freshman, especially on the mound.
Speed pitch. Hit to Corsini at second base. On to George at first for out number one. Nice pickup by Corsini.
Corsini to Nick George now playing first base, and that's the first out of the top of the fourth inning.
That's going to bring up the third baseman, Braden Cole.
Braden Cole.
Braden struck out his last at bat.
And this is just what you expect from the Flying Eagles. And he hits a sharp grounder to the shortstop, Braden Thomason. Thomason throws a strike on to first base
to George for out number two.
6-3.
It's just the way you, as a coach, it's just the way you want it. A couple pitches, let your guys get behind your pitcher and make some plays.
You know, Bray did a nice job staying down. That ball stayed down. It didn't pop up or anything. He was right
Notice
down
his
on
footwork when that ball approached. You know, he's just good. He's good.
Kel Wolf at the bat, the center fielder. Foul tips the first pitch for strike one. Pitch is low and away for ball one. Even the count 1-1.
You'd like to see Logan come out here as he's doing this inning and get some good reps out there on the mound.
Fastball right on the outside corner for strike two.
They're going to depend on him this season to eat up some innings.
So from way ahead in the count, 1-2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Fastball low and away for ball two.
Talk about the ump getting peppered a few times this game. The catcher, it's a tough job in this cold air.
Ball hits a toe, an arm. It's miserable. Fastball fouled back.
This kind of weather, I need medical attention if I bump my leg on the thing, let alone have a baseball come at me.
Counts 2-2 on Wolf. Here's the pitch. Wolf hits it to center field. Actually, shortstop, and Braden Thomason makes the play for the final out. So pretty simple inning for Logan Frum. 3 up, 3 down.
Very good inning.
No runs on no hits. Nobody left on base. And after 3.5 innings, Robert C. Byrd 7. Philip Barbour 2. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
Back here at Staten Field, bottom half of the fourth inning. Philip Barbour's made a pitching change. They've got a sophomore, Grant Harris, in to pitch.
Nick George.
He'll face the first baseman, number 23, Nick George.
Nick singled with an RBI last at bat.
Harris's pitch is hit hard over the center fielder's head as Nick goes into second base
Nick George.
with a double to start the inning for the Flying Eagles.
Deep left center field.
And I tell you, the ground is a little rolly out there just because of the weather. And if that didn't stop that, he might have ended up at 3-bag.
When that ball hit the ground out there, Coach, it looked like it hit a pile of sand. It looked like one of my wedge shots from about 100 yards out.
The left fielder, Nathan Lotsky.
I couldn't tell if it was a fried egg or not, but it was in the ground pretty good out there.
Yeah.
That's going to bring up Nathan Lotsky. Lotsky hits one to left center. George will round third, and he'll cross home plate for the Flying Eagles' 8th run of the day.
Lotsky with a line drive, single to left center.
So that's a
Nick George.
line drive RBI for Nathan Lotsky.
Not wasting any time up there, are they? Is that 2 pitches?
They were aggressive.
Now batting the
And again,
pitcher,
on a dry
Martin
day,
Crum.
that may have been a double as hard as he hit the ball, but
Yeah.
the outfield's so soft right now, the ball's just not moving on it. Harris's pitch to Frum on the outside corner for strike one.
Wood umpire is calling that spot today.
And Frum hits it
Double.
what a great play. Hits it to Heflin. Heflin on to Gonzalez to second base to get the unconventional.
Unconventional.
3 with the put out to 6. Gets the runner at second.
So 3-6.
3-6 to 4.
And unassisted, yeah.
3-6-4 double play.
Now batting the second baseman, Anthony Corsini.
And the pitch to Corsini's on the outside corner. Anthony Corsini. Down to count 1 ball or no balls, 1 strike. And he hits the ball directly back to Harris. Harris on to Heflin, and that'll be out number 3.
And that ends the inning.
So Flying Eagles scored 1 run on 2 hits. Nobody left on base, and at the end of 4 innings,
Here at Staten Field.
it's Robert C. Byrd 8, Philip Barbour 2,
Philip Barbour, 2.
RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
entering the top of the 5th inning. Leading off for the Colts, 0-0, Nick Gonzalez.
Back here at Staten Field. Flying Eagles up 8-2. Nick Gonzalez leading off for the Colts. Logan Frum's first pitch is low and outside for ball 1.
Nick struck out his last at bat.
Frum gets a sign from O'Neill. Fastball right down the middle for strike 1. Frum's setup is a lot like Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
When he's in the full windup. Curveball. Just inside for ball 2.
It's impressive. Gonzalez hanging in there on that
Yeah,
one.
that was a great pitch. Awful close. Another fastball just misses by George. To count 3-1. And Frum with a fastball in the outside corner for strike 2. He could have been out of this batter 2 pitches ago.
Yeah, battling through a little adversity here.
Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball's hit to left field. Lotsky scampers over, gets the ball in one hop, and fires it into Corsini. And as you can see already with Lotsky in left field, that strong arm is going to be a tremendous advantage for the Flying Eagles as the season progresses.
Absolutely. He got the ball in quick. He has nice range out there. That's a nice piece of hitting by Gonzalez. Good job by Frum battling.
That's going to bring up Albert Gonzalez to shortstop. 1 on, nobody out.
Albert had a nice single his last at bat, right up the middle.
He squares around to bunt. Takes ball 1.
I'm not sure how anxious he is to bunt, or he's just trying to get in Logan's head a little bit. Again, with this score, you don't want to give away outs.
Here comes the pitch.
Nice pitch.
Right on the inside corner for strike 1. That'll even the count with Gonzalez. Nick Gonzalez on first base. Again, really hasn't got much of a lead this time. Again, given the circumstances of the game. Curveball right over the outside corner for strike 2.
That was a nice pitch. I mean, you'd like to avoid the double play here if you're Philip Barbour, but at the same time, you don't want to run yourself out of an inning and take chances that give away these outs because you're gonna need them. You've got 9 outs left.
And Albert Gonzalez fouls that inside pitch away to stay alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nice pitch by Frum there. There's not much Gonzalez could do with it. Late on it. Had to be early on it with the pitch inside and the fastball. Gonzalez did a nice job of fighting it off and living for another pitch. 1-2. Curveball, fouled away.
Good pitch again, too. That was a little bit more bend to it. Kind of gave Albert a little bit more of a heads up. That last one before that, it was a little sharper. So I don't know if that was more of a slurve.
Frum takes a peek at Nick Gonzalez at first. Here comes the 1-2 pitch.
Boy, he's got He's got Gonzalez pulling out of the box. So that's 2 off-speed pitches on the inner half of the plate. Let's see if he comes with a fastball in the outer half here.
I think he's going to go up in the zone, Coach. Yep. Change his eyesight.
Yep.
It's going to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Nick Gonzalez takes off on the 2-2 pitch. Pitches in the dirt, and Logan Frum does a good job with that ball in the dirt to not allow Nick Gonzalez to move on to third base.
Yeah, great job.
Here's the payoff pitch to Gonzalez. Fastball hit to Corsini. Knocks it down, makes a hard throw, and gets Albert Gonzalez at first base. Nick Gonzalez is able to advance to third base in that situation, but outs are more important right now for the Flying Eagles.
Absolutely. You'll trade that any day. Who made that throw?
4-3.
Corsini.
Did he? Okay.
For the first out of the inning, Nick Gonzalez moves to third base on the play. Next up for the Colts, the right fielder, number 19, Tyler Sisson.
Only challenge is, you're coming to the meat of their order. These next 2 hitters are.
So Tyler Sisson, the right fielder, at bat. Curveball blown away for ball 1. Yes, you're in the heart of the Colt lineup right now.
And listen, Frum's out there, again, early in the season. He's trying to work through these hiccups.
Fastball blown away for ball 2.
But this is the kind of experience that's going to be invaluable later on in the season.
Absolutely. Frum gets a sign from O'Neill. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. And Sisson hits the ball hard to left field. Nick Gonzalez crosses home plate for the third run. And the ball gets by Lotsky in left field. And Sisson will advance to second base.
That scores Nick Gonzalez.
Heads up play by Sisson.
Sisson moves to second on the play.
I think that sun's just wreaking havoc out there.
Makes the score 8-3. RCB ahead of Philip Barbour. First pitch to Alfred Itch, the catcher. Off speed, low and away for ball 1. Good job by O'Neill keeping the ball in front of him.
Well, I'm just shaking my head in amazement. I could hear that ball hit him in the chest, and he's been a trooper tonight.
Frum's pitch is in there for strike 1. That'll even the count on Ish at 1-1. So 1 on, 1 out. Top of the 5th inning. Flying Eagles ahead of the Colts. 8-3. Hitch calls timeout, does a jumping jack, trying to keep that blood flowing. Sun's starting to go down here at Staten Field. Starting to get a little chilly, Coach.
Yeah, it is. I've got one glove on, one glove off. You've got both gloves going over there.
Hitch hits it to the third baseman, Rock. Rock checks the second baseman.
Oh, got him.
And throws a strike on to Nick George for out number 2.
5-3. 2 outs.
Good play by Ryland over there.
What a quality play, because he looks the runner back, Coach.
He did.
And then fires a strike to first base to get the out. And
that ball short hopped him a little bit. He's kind of, he's kind of in that spot, off the grass, on the grass. Nice play. As a former third baseman, Coach, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So Mason Halfland, the first baseman, up to bat. From's pitch is in the dirt, gets by O'Neill, and Sisson advances to third base on the wild pitch. Halfland's ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes.
We know Halfland's a lefty, and again, changing things for the pitcher. They're a little bit too outside. Any lineup that can sprinkle in a couple lefties, it's tough to pitch to at times.
Halfland with a swing and a miss. That's going to run the count to 2 balls, 1 strike. Swing and a miss by Halfland. That'll even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. From gets a sign from O'Neill. 2-2. 2 out, runner on third base. Pitches up and away for ball 3. Love Logan to be able to throw a strike here and get out of this inning unscathed. With that runner on third base.
Yeah.
And pitches low for ball 4.
Base on balls, runners on the corners with 2 out.
That's going to bring up the left fielder, Andrew D'Angelo.
Andrew D'Angelo.
I don't see anyone warming up, so it looks like Coach is going to let Logan go a little bit here.
Number 10, Ethan Floyd, is going to pinch run for Mason Halfin. Halfin is to re-enter.
So Ethan Floyd is going to run for the first baseman. And then after the inning's over, Halflin's going to re-enter. So we have runners on first and third, 2 outs. From with the pitch is up high for ball 1 on D'Angelo. One ball, new strikes. And that pitch is low and away for ball 2. Need Logan just to take a deep breath right now. And
yeah, he's just got to recenter himself. And
Floyd still second base.
And again, when you're out there, you're trying different things. You're changing your footing a little bit, trying to dig in maybe.
So that ball was called a strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike on D'Angelo. That pitch is high for ball 3.
That pitch, it looks like Logan's getting tired.
It's a little lefty pitch up a little bit and
just
not dropping and
not
driving.
bending over.
Yeah. 3-1's the count. And a fastball right on the outside corner for strike 2. The payoff pitch is called ball 4.
Ball 4, bases loaded.
And that's going to bring up
And the pitcher,
Grant Harris.
number 2.
This is his first at bat, filling in for Hutzler. Big spot. Change the direction of the game. Either way.
From with a fastball, swing and a miss by Harris. From ahead to count, no balls, 1 strike. Pitches up and in for ball 1.
Come back on the outer half now.
1-1's the count, bases loaded. Fastball right there for strike 2. Good pitch by Logan Frum. Now ahead of the count 1-2. He's got to stay aggressive and
snap off this breaking pitch.
1-2 is the count. Curveball's in the dirt for ball 2. Again, another great job by O'Neill keeping the ball in front of him.
Yeah, unsung guy today. Taking a beating back there, and he's done a pretty good job keeping the ball in front of him.
Oh, and a called ball 3 on a pitch that was awful close on Harris.
1 out, bases loaded, full count.
Here's the payoff pitch from in the full windup. Here comes the pitch to Harris. Pitch is blown away for ball 4. And the runners advance. And that'll take the second run of the inning for the Colts. And that's going to bring up
the third baseman, Braden Cole.
The third baseman, Braden Cole. Coach Smith's on out to have a little conversation. With Logan and the entire team.
Yeah, just wanted to touch base with him and give him a minute to kind of reset some things. No one warming up. I guess if they make a change, it's coming from the field. But I'm sure he wants to see Logan pull through this inning and looks like we're having a courtesy runner.
Yeah. And that's going to be Salisbury, who courtesy ran earlier in the game. He's going to courtesy run for the pitcher, Harris.
So 8-4, bases loaded, 1 out.
Critical point in the game is the Colts have cut the lead in half. Fastball Low for ball one. And Cole foul tips the second pitch. Looked like off his own knee, Coach.
Yeah.
Salisbury's getting a lead, a pretty big lead at first base. It'd almost be hard for me not to throw it to first base, but of course, Frum is in the full windup.
Well, D'Angelo's lead, he's down past the shortstop.
And the off-speed pitch is swing and a miss by Cole, and that's going to put Frum up ahead in the count again, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now what you want to do, if you're Frum and O'Neill, you want to keep the ball in front. Don't let that ball kick off. Let a run squeak in.
And Cole foul tips that to stay alive. Keeps the count at 1-2. And we're getting to that time of the evening, Coach, where the lights might have to come on at Staten Field. One and two's the count on Cole. Here's the pitch. It's hit to the third baseman, Rock, and it gets through Rock's legs.
They're sending him.
And 2 runs will score for the Colts as they cut the Flying Eagle lead to 8-6.
2-run score for the Colts. On to hit the third base.
That run was able to come in from second, the way we were talking about, Coach. D'Angelo had such a huge lead. As soon as that happened, he was in running mode. Wolf flew out to the shortstop.
And Frum with a nice pickoff try. Thomason really with a great catch. And to make that a lot closer than what it could have been. Frum's pitch to Wolf. Up high for ball one. Wolf's 0 for 2 on the day. But ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Comes the pitch from Frum. Swing and a miss to even the count, 1-1.
It looks like the lineup's going to turn over. But you just want to kind of not get to the number 3 hitter if you're Logan at least.
Two balls, 1 strike on Wolf. 2 outs. Ball's hit to Rock. Rock makes the throw to first and makes the play for out number 3.
Wow. What a play.
Philip Barbour scores 4 runs on 2 hits. 2 runners left on base, and at the end of 4.5.
After 4.5,
Robert C. Byrd 8,
8-6.
Philip Barbour 6. RCBSN Baseball.
Flying Eagle Network.
Back at Staten Field, bottom of the fifth inning. Colts had a big rally in the top half. Now the lead's cut 8-6. Flying Eagles ahead. Leading off for the Flying Eagles is the catcher, Noah O'Neill.
Bottom of the fifth, Noah O'Neill leads off for the Flying Eagles.
O'Neill struck out looking his last at bat. No, I'm sorry. He struck out swinging.
He takes the first pitch for a ball.
Important for this bottom part of the lineup to get on base somehow. And
oh, I tell you what, that pitch was it's a hard pitch for a hitter to hit when it's inside. Outside, I've always said you could give a little bit more on the outside, but when you start giving it on the inside, you're taking the bat out of the batter's hands. Make the count 2-1 on O'Neill.
I tell you, Harris whips that arm through, doesn't he? Makes it kind of tough the way he slots that to pick up.
Well, it does a good job of hiding the ball, and it comes out quick.
Yeah. And his arm motion's been the same on all of his pitches.
Foul away, evens count 2-2.
And the Tony
Here's
Pena.
a pitch, and it's a curveball inside for ball 3. And you know what? It looks like he's loosened up a little bit. He's thrown a little harder than he did the last inning.
He's letting it go now.
It's a full count on O'Neill.
I like his action. It's a nice little pitcher.
Harris with a pitch. And O'Neill hits it right back to him. Harris will underhand it to Halfland for out number 1.
3 for the first out.
1-3 for scoring at home.
Brings up.
I know we got a lot of people sitting with scorecards.
Well, it keeps the general fan involved in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. John Miller's probably sitting home with a scorecard.
He's definitely got a scorecard going. Right fielder, Dior Cooper up and swinging a miss for strike 1. Fastball on the outside corner is fouled away for strike 2. So Grant Harris way ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Number 8 hitter, Dior Cooper. Pitches inside for ball 1.
You know, it's really important for the Flying Eagles to get some runs this inning. Philip Barbour has the heart of their order coming up next inning.
Pitch is just a bit outside for ball 2. That'll even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I'm a Euchre fan. What can I say?
What, Coach? I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
And high fastball, swing and a miss for strike 3.
Two outs now for the Eagles here at the bottom of the 5th.
So that's going to bring up the center fielder, Bryce Byrd.
Bryce with a multi-hit game going. Last time he shot it up the first baseline.
He's 2 for 2. Curveball, swing and a miss for strike 1. Halfland's getting in a groove. Or, excuse me, Harris.
Yeah. Yeah, Bryce was out in front of that one. Opened up a little early.
Fastball on the outside corner for strike 2.
Man, I tell you, when he's making these pitches, it makes it tough on a hitter.
No balls, 2 strikes. Curveball inside for ball one.
Ish with the Tony Pena crouch again. Bryce got a battle. He appealed. It was a good call. Good call. Bryce held up.
So check swing.
Philip Barbour contingent doesn't agree.
Somebody had to wake up the first base umpire. I didn't quite understood what was going on right there. Ball's hit to the second baseman, Gonzalez. On to Halflin. And pulls Halflin off the bag, and he's safe at first base.
He's out the play at first base, and he's safe.
So that's going to get the Flying Eagles to the top of the lineup, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Braden Thomason.
With one on, coming to the
And that's just what the Flying Eagles needed right now.
Absolutely.
Harris was in a groove, and now this is an opportunity. Bryce Byrd's a person that's on first base that could steal a base, maybe two.
Very athletic.
I mean, you
And
put
that's
some
exactly
pressure.
what you want. He's going to third. He's going to third.
Pick-off play, and Bryce Byrd moves from first to third, just like we just spoke about, Coach.
And that's what happens.
third on the throw.
And Bryce Byrd tries to advance to home plate and is thrown out for out number 3, and that'll end the inning. Flying Eagles score no runs on no hits, nobody left on base. At the end of 5 full innings, Robert C. Byrd 8, Philip Barbour 6. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
Back here at Staten Field, Robert C. Byrd clinging to an 8-6 lead. Top half of the 6th inning. And the Colts bringing up the top of the order. Flying Eagles made a pitching change, and now we have Rylan Rock, the junior, in the
Top
pitch.
of the 6th for the Colts, leading off, Nick Gonzalez.
Rylan had a really nice year pitching last year for the Flying Eagles.
Yeah, again, one of these underclassmen like Logan that got valuable experience on the Flying Eagles' historic run to the state tournament.
So Rock's first pitch is fouled away for strike one. Rock gets a sign. Here's the pitch. And just misses.
Gonzalez singled his last at bat, scored. That's what a leadoff hitter's supposed to do, Coach.
1 ball, 1 strike on Nick Gonzalez. Ball's hit over the second baseman's head. And Cooper and Corsini race the ball.
Nick Gonzalez to lead off the top of the 6th.
I mean, just this damp air, cold air, the ball's not going to hang in there long, and it just hit it in that one spot that makes it tough for players to communicate. Albert grounded to the second baseman, his last at bat.
So 1 on, nobody out.
Now you have 6 outs, and you're more willing to trade an out for a run. So the sacrifice game gets put back on the table.
Rock's first pitch in there for a strike. Had the count. No balls, 1 strike on Albert Gonzalez. Nick Gonzalez on first base with the lead. Curveball inside for ball 1. Even the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Nick Gonzalez with a little bit extra lead. Curveball. Again inside for ball 2.
Knocking on that front door curveball, isn't he? A lot of times you see guys want to hit the outer half.
And Rock's pitch again just misses. He's just right around the zone.
Yeah.
Barely missing. Albert Gonzalez heading to count, 3 balls, 1 strike. Pitches outside and away for ball 4.
That time, Ryland just came offline a little bit. You could tell he was just kind of shifted his weight off the mound, and ball tailed outside.
This is going to bring Sisson up, and Sisson's got a couple hits in the game today.
Swung the bat really well.
The right fielder. Ball's hit up in the air. That ball goes out of play for strike 1.
He's on that. He pulled out early. Ryland's going to have to keep the ball out of the middle of the plate on this guy.
Ryland ahead of the count, 1 ball or no balls, 1 strike. Pitch is high and inside. That'll even the count up at 1-1. And now we can say a brisk night at Staten Field on the campus of Robert C. Byrd High School.
We've graduated from balmy to brisk.
One the count. Ball's hit to right center. Bryce Byrd comes in, makes the play. Gonzalez takes off. And both runners that were on base will advance on the putout by Bryce Byrd in center field. So Sisson flies out, F8. But both runners advance to second and third and 1 out. So Philip Barbour now has the tying run at second base.
With
and
big,
1 out.
Big bat up.
And Alfred Itch, who hit 2 home runs last year.
I guarantee you I'd put him on. Yep.
And that's exactly what Robert C. Byrd did. They intentionally walked Ish to load the bases. That sets up a lot of advantages right now for the Flying Eagles. They've got an out at any base now. You're taking their power hitter again, who hit 2 home runs against them in a game last night. Puts him on first base. And he's going to get a courtesy runner.
Absolutely. And, Halfland hasn't had a hit tonight.
Wilson will be the courtesy runner for the catcher.
I think it's a smart move.
Absolutely. I mean, you runners on second and third. He's really been pretty quiet. You've been able to keep him pretty quiet all evening, Coach. And in this situation, there's no question about it. It's the right thing to do. So now you have the bases loaded, and that's going to bring up Halfland, the first baseman. Wilson is in as the courtesy runner for the catcher. And nice pitch.
Ball.
Called a ball.
Ryland's frustrated now. He just has to bear down, work through it. He needs to throw strikes right here.
Halfland hit the ball straight away to Bryce Byrd for the play.
It's okay.
Nick Gonzalez crosses home plate, and he'll score on a sacrifice fly.
But you keep the runner at second. Keep the runner at second. So you have D'Angelo up. D'Angelo's walked twice and struck out looking once.
So Philip Barbour with runners on first and second, 2 outs now. And you have the left fielder, Andrew D'Angelo, up to bat. Really nice play by Bryce Byrd in center field. Ball's hit over Thomas's head. Here's a play at the plate. Lotsky fires it in. And here comes Wilson. Wilson sliding in and is called out at the plate for the third out.
Bang, bang.
But right before that happens, Gonzalez crosses home plate to tie the game at 8-8.
Then on the play at the plate, the courtesy runner Wilson is out. The Colts score 2 runs.
2 runs on.
After 5.5 innings.
The Colts were able in
the
top of the 6th to score 2 runs on 2 hits. 1 runner left on base, and at the end of 5.5 innings, Robert C. Byrd, 8. Philip Barbour, 8. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
Back here at Staten Field, bottom half of the 6th inning, we've got a tie ball game, 8-8, as Philip Barbour has came from an 8-2 deficit, Coach.
Braden Thomason
leading off for the Flying Eagles. He takes the first pitch for ball one.
Well, this is the opportunity for the Flying Eagles. They have top of their order, 6 outs. Colts have kind of the bottom part of their order with only 3 outs. So opportunity to get some base runners.
Thomas ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch inside for ball 3. And boy, wouldn't a walk be just what the doctor ordered for the Flying Eagles, Coach?
That's exactly what the RCB Flying Eagles are hoping for right here.
3-0 pitch from Harris on the inside quarter for strike 1.
Fans are getting into it now. They must be just trying to keep themselves getting warm or something.
I think it's more about being warm right now than it is anything else. You become delirious when your fingertips and your toes become numb. So we're going to have to get a hold of the administration to make sure they've got their head on a swivel with what's going on here tonight.
3-2.
Here comes Harris's payoff pitch to Thomason. Low and away for ball 4. And again, that's what the Flying Eagles needed to start off the 6th inning here.
Coach is calling out the play. Boys are checking their wristbands.
Now batting the pitcher.
I like the wristband route, by the way.
Yeah. Ryland in an opportunity to help himself out here. A tie ball game. Fastball hit right back up the middle to Gonzalez. Gonzalez.
Pulled it. He came off the bag.
And absolutely, half of him was off the bag. Good call by the umpire as Thomas is put out on the fielder's choice.
Fielder's choice. Thomason out at second.
Well, trade one for the other, losing out.
Yeah.
Rocket first.
Now you're going to bring up Nick George.
Third baseman Nick George.
Avoided that double play.
Harris with a pitch right on the outside corner for strike 1.
He just missed
Second
that
pitch
one.
is fouled away, off-speed pitch, and that's Harris is way ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes.
Coach, we're going to have to build a fire here soon or something. Interesting to see how Harris goes after him. That's exactly how I would have went after him, too.
Well, he wasted a pitch low and away, and again, great stop by Alfred Ish behind the dish.
Oof.
Right there.
Dropping bars.
So make the count 1-2. Rock on first. Pitch outside for ball 2.
I think it is safe to say that the Philip Barbour crowd does not agree with that call.
They did well. You know, again from their perspective, they can't tell that Ish was set up outside. The ball was outside,
right.
So it looks like a strike. And oh my goodness,
A little in front of that one. A little in front of that one.
George just missed taking one home right there as he took that off-speed pitch and drove it over the left field fence foul. Here comes the 2-2 pitch.
Ooh.
And George does a good job staying alive as he fouls it away.
He really did. He was rocking back, too, and he kept his hands there. And
if you're Harris now, you've showed him just about everything that you've got.
You really have.
And in these long at-bats, it changes the advantage from the pitcher to the batter now.
And Nick's feeling confident. I mean, he, like you said, he's seen it all. So we'll see what Harris does. I'd go off speed to the outer part of the plate. I wouldn't bring it in where it's going to hit the football field.
And this sits up on the outside part.
You put on the outer part, you have to make Nick make a good swing. If you put on the inner part, make a mistake.
And ball's in the dirt, and Rocks advances to second base, and that's critical
That's
right
huge.
now. Now you've got, well, what are they going to do here? Are they going to
I'd put him
potentially
on.
walk him, or are they going to give him an opportunity with a runner on second base to take the lead, and you just need 3 outs to win the game? It's the chess match that baseball is.
I'd walk him.
Well, here comes the payoff pitch to George. Pitch is outside for ball 4. So it was the unintentional intentional walk.
Intentional. That's exactly how I would have done it.
Brings up the left fielder, number 10, Nathan Lotsky.
So
And that's going to bring up Nathan Lotsky, Coach.
He's been aggressive today. He's getting his cuts in. He's had contact, a couple nice contact swings. So
He takes a rip at it when it's in the zone. There's Harris's pitch, 2 on, 1 out. Ball outside for ball 1 to Lotsky.
tell you what, Ish does a good job. He does a good job framing the pitch.
Absolutely. And again, the pitch the fans were upset with earlier is just because he was so far outside he didn't move the mitt, and it looks like a strike to everybody.
Absolutely.
But again, that's a pitch right there that very easily could have been called a ball, but he leaves the mitt right there and frames it. And he didn't have the glove long; he had it little here, and it looks like a strike. And you could still pitches. That's going to even the count on Lotsky, 1-1. Ball's hit back to Harris. Harris throws it to Halfland for out number 2.
1-3 for the second out of the inning. Brings up the first baseman, number 18, Logan Fromm.
So the runners advance as Rock advances to third and George to second. Now we have 2 runners in scoring position for Logan Fromm, the first baseman. Fromm takes a curveball for strike 1.
Opportunity for Logan here.
Fastball swinging a foul tip. Goes back to the cage.
Logan's kind of pulling out a little bit. Hope he stays in this.
It's behind the count 0-2.
I'd keep setting up on the outer half, so I hope he keeps his hands back.
Curveball low and inside for ball 1.
Good job. Good job.
And, that's the other thing, too. You're Harrison, he does a good job of throwing curveballs, but a pass ball right here puts you behind as well.
It really limits your pitch repertoire in this situation.
That fastball's on the outside. It's going to even the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Fromm.
Still leaves you with the inside curveball, but the outside curveball may not be there because if it kicks out,
If he throws a 30-footer, he threw a nice fastball right there. Had a lot of zip on it. As Sisson chases it foul out of bounds, or out of play, excuse me. It's out of bounds, too.
yeah.
Our ball.
Logan did a good job fighting that off. Blues earned his money tonight.
So 2 ball, 2 strike count. Harris with a pitch. Inside, swing and a miss by Fromm for strike number 3.
Colts are excited.
No runs.
And that's the third out of the inning. The Eagles get a hit for lead
So
2.
no runs on 1 hit.
Robert
2 men left on
Seabird,
base.
8.
And we are tied 8-8 after 6 innings of play. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
Back here at Staten Field, top half of the 7th inning, 8-8 ball game between Robert C. Byrd and Philip Barbour. Leading off for the Colts is the pitcher, Grant Harris. Takes Ryland Rock's first pitch high for ball 1.
Harris walked his last at bat.
Pitch is fouled down the left field line for strike 1. Rock gets the sign from O'Neill. Here's the pitch.
Nice pitch.
Right down the middle for strike 2.
That's what, Ryland just really has to do right now is just throw some strikes.
Like you said, Coach, they're in a critical part of the lineup. You're in 7, 8, and 9 right now. And speed pitch, swing and a miss, and strike 3.
Well, that was a tight break.
For the first out of the inning.
Nice pitch by Ryland Rock to put Harris away there.
To the plate, number 12.
That's going to bring up the third baseman, Braden Cole.
Cole grounded out to third base last time.
Ball's grounded down to third base line. George picks it up on to first base, and Cole's able to beat it out. Heck of an effort by George.
Yeah.
Field single for Braden Cole.
I pulled a muscle in this weather watching him run that hard after the
You're
ball.
not kidding.
That's going to bring up the number 9 hitter, Kel Wolf.
I would imagine sacrifices in order right here. Wolf has shown it earlier in the game. Looks like coach has given them several different signs. Nope.
And that pitch is high for ball 1. A little bit shocked by that, but he may go to the situation that maybe let him get a strike on him first and then see what happens.
Yeah. It's also the case, unless they get a double play, Gonzalez is going to get in the bat this inning anyway.
Rock checks first base. Here's the pitch. In there for strike one. It's going to even the count at 1-1. And there's the bunt we were talking about. Rock picks it up on to From for out number 2. But that advances Braden Cole to second base, and they have a runner in scoring position now with the top of the lineup up, and that's going to bring Nick Gonzalez up to bat. So Gonzalez up with a runner.
Here in the top of the 7th inning.
Gonzalez with a multi-hit game as well. If I remember right, he kind of hit that one in the no man's land between second and right last time.
Cole with a big lead at second base.
Nice pitch.
And curveball just misses for ball 1. Good pitch by Rock.
Froze Gonzalez.
Rock gets a sign from O'Neal. And that pitch is high for ball 2. Two balls, no strikes. Cole on second base. 2 outs. Top half of the 7th inning. And an off-speed pitch right over the outside corner for strike 1.
2-0 count. He goes curveball. That's some confidence in that pitch.
To 2-1. O'Neal sits back up on the same place, and fastball's fouled back for strike 2. And here comes Rock. He's battling right now.
That was a nice series of pitches by Ryland.
Great opportunity to learn how to grind early in the season.
Nice.
Off-speed pitch high for ball 3.
Didn't snap it hard enough right there, but I like the idea.
So the count is now full 3-2. Cole on second base.
I'll be honest with you. Even if he gives up a walk here, it's not the worst thing in the world.
What gives you
a couple force out opportunities.
Absolutely. And pitch is high for ball 4.
Base on balls.
Now, I wouldn't want to see Sisson up this inning. Definitely wouldn't want to see Ish up this inning. So this is where you have to barrel down and go after Albert. Albert's already had a hit this game. Couple walks, ground out to the second baseman.
Curveball on the outside part of the plate for ball 1 to Albert Gonzalez, the shortstop. Rock gets a sign from O'Neal. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Strike right down the middle. And that's what Ryland's got to do in this situation right now. That's, you have to make them earn it.
Yeah. Definitely can't give Albert a free pass here.
So the count's 1-1. Here comes the pitch, curveball, fouled away. Now Rock ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And I'll be honest with you, he's pitched well enough this at bat. All of his pitches are available, and Gonzalez probably is unsure of what's coming.
That's a terrible position to be in to be a hitter. Pitches up high for ball 2, and that'll even the count 2-2. Fastball's fouled away. Gonzalez stays alive. That was a good piece of hitting right there, Coach.
Yeah, Gonzalez done a great job staying locked in, forcing Ryland to throw strikes. Base runners has some nice leads.
2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss and a strike 3.
Huge pitch.
Great job by Ryland Rock throwing the curveball for a strike. It was going to be a strikeout either way right there. Gonzalez swings and misses, gets the Flying Eagles out of that jam.
Great job on a young pitcher getting these valuable reps early in the season.
Well, he did exactly what we asked him to do. You said it's an opportunity to grind, and that's exactly what he did right there. He gave up no runs on 1 hit, 2 men left on base at the end of 6.5. Robert C. Byrd, 8. Philip Barbour, 8. RCBSN Baseball.
The Flying Eagle Network.
Back here at Staten Field, Flying Eagles in an 8-8 ball game, bottom of the 7th inning with the Philip Barbour Colts. Anthony Corsini, the second baseman at bat, fouls off the first pitch.
The appeal.
Harris throws a curveball low, and Corsini does a good job of check swinging right there on the appeal, and it's going to even the count at 1-1. Flying Eagles Flying Eagles just need a base runner here. Harris's pitch is low and away for ball 2. And, it makes a difference when you're at home in a situation like this as compared to on the road, because on a ball that was low and inside, called for strike 2 on Corsini. And Corsini does a good job of getting the bat out of the way on that curveball that never curved.
Big pitch right here.
Full count. Here's the payoff pitch. Corsini hits one hard to third base, and he scampers up the first base line.
Great job legging it out.
Cole throws it in the dirt, and Halfland unable to come up with it. So Flying Eagles, just what we talked about, what we needed. Corsini, a pretty quick runner. Opportunity, on first base, nobody out. Bottom half of a tie ball game.
Now batting, the catcher, 25, Noah O'Neill.
Corsini's trying to call timeout. We finally got it from the official. I thought initially he was doing jumping jacks because he was cold, but he was just trying to get a timeout and trying to get the umpire's attention.
I think he was unsure of the signal. You absolutely don't want to have miscommunication in this situation.
Corsini with a base hit to start off the inning for the Flying Eagles. No, Neal up to bat. And looked like the Flying Eagles were trying to move Corsini up with a sacrifice. Harris throws to first base. And
yeah, but you notice that wasn't his best move. He's got to be careful here because they've let a couple get by.
Absolutely, Coach.
And, so he's not going to – Anthony's not going to see his best move.
And the pitch gets by-ish, and Corsini, stealing second, goes in standing up.
Corsini moves to second on the pitch.
I'd still sacrifice here. Because if you can get that runner to third
base
with less than 2 outs, you limit what he can throw as a pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially on the outer half of the plate.
Yep. You're going to see more fastballs and so Neal with a bunt.
Exactly what
and
he
that advances Corsini to third base.
With the sacrifice.
That's going to bring up Dior Cooper. And it opens up the page for the Flying Eagles. That bunt's still in play. The squeeze is in play now. A sac fly is in play now.
100%.
It's going to force the defense has to come up in this situation in the infield. They can't sit back in a situation like this because the game's going to be over.
Yeah, 100%.
So, now you've opened up more of the field for an opportunity to win the game. Harris is a fastball and swing and a miss by Dior Cooper. Flying Eagles have the winning run on third base. 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Fastball's foul tipped for strike 2.
I know the squeeze is out of play now with 2 strikes, but I thought we might see it right there. I think, but, that's a tough play to pull off in the first game of the season. There are so many things that have to go right.
Well, and as wet as the ground is.
Yeah, the ball's stick.
Yeah, the ball's been sticking everywhere.
Right.
No balls, 2 strikes. Cooper at bat. And he hits a base hit, and that'll win the game for the Flying Eagles. As Anthony Corsini crosses home plate and brings the Flying Eagles a 9-8 victory on opening night at Robert C. Byrd High School.
Win the opener, 9-8.
Great job by the Flying Eagles.
Great job at hitting by Dior Cooper right there. 0-2.
Absolutely.
Gets a curveball, and he just smacks it between the shortstop and third baseman for a game-winning hit. And Coach, we said this year was going to be could be electric, and tonight's just a glimpse of what it can be.
If this is something that's going to happen this season, man, it's just a great game to see. And again, kudos to both teams. It's cold out here, and they battled, and Flying Eagles found a way to pull it out.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. Flying Eagles, early in the game, they go up 8-2, and a lot of times, a team could quit in that situation. And Philip Barbour didn't do that tonight. And they battled until they had an opportunity. They got a big inning where they were able to tie it up with 4 runs. And the Flying Eagles do what good teams do. They handle that adversity when it happens, and they were able to pull out the victory this evening.
Absolutely. Used 3 pitchers, 2 underclassmen that got, valuable reps tonight, and beat a good Philip Barbour ball club. So I'm sure these 2 teams will maybe see each other down the road.
And this is going to be a memorable night, not only for the players, but this is Coach Andrew Smith's first game at the helm as a manager of the Flying Eagles, and that's one heck of a way to get
that
your first
dub.
victory.
Absolutely.
So for Ryan Lance, I'm Basil Lucas, signing off on Robert C. Byrd Baseball.